wanted to talk to him about the announcement and what's next for him. He's kind enough to join us right now. There he is. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Good, man. First, I'm honored to be leading into Tyson Fury. That's pretty badass, I got to tell you. That's
It,
when I seen the tweet you put out about today's show. I was like, damn, me and Tyson Fury, can I just stay on for a little bit and chat with him, you know?
I appreciate that.
Okay,
And
man.
I know you're a big combat sports boxing fan as well. So, yeah, I feel the same way. And it's great to have you on. And congratulations on the run and the career. As I said to you as well, an honor to cover your career and to watch you over the years. And so could I ask, what were you doing? Where were you when you sent out that tweet on that Saturday morning?
I was at my daughter's doubleheader soccer game, and it was in between the two games, and I was bored. I didn't really feel like talking with all the soccer moms and dads. Um, like you said, it was pretty nonchalant. I didn't really think much of it. I was like, man, maybe I should do an Instagram post today. Oh, this picture looks like it'd be good for a retirement post, and
And that
just
was
did
it.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Some people stress over this, mull it over. They have people that they talk to. You just did it on a whim. Like, you didn't wake up that morning thinking I'm going to announce my retirement today.
To be fair, I had already told the UFC, like I was basically essentially already retired. At least I thought I was retired. It was funny because I was like, I asked Sean about the removal from the testing. I said, I'm gonna retire, but maybe I'll stay in testing, maybe not, or whatever. And then when I put it on Instagram, 2 hours later, I got social media. 2 hours later, I got an email saying I'm officially removed. I was
Wow.
wait, so that's what makes it official? Is the social media? It's not the phone call to the person that does it.
When did you
So
tell the UFC?
it was probably a month or two before that. I don't remember exactly, but um, honestly, it took some. I think the fact that I did it so nonchalantly was because I had to like get up the balls and the courage to do it. I didn't. I don't like really, things revolving around me unless I'm like in a main event fight. Right, that's pretty cool. Um, but I didn't really want to make it a big thing. Um, I'm just not that guy.
When you say the balls and the courage, also, like, by putting it out there, does it make it more real? Were you sort of dreading that, avoiding that?
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, because when I got that email that I was officially dropped from the testing pool, well, even before I got that, I thought, man, I should make this a psych out post. I should call Sean and be like, hey, book a fight in 6 weeks. Let's go. And then that thanks for the attention, guys.
And so when you told him, did they try to convince you to stick around? Did they, or is it just like, okay, thank you for your
Uh,
services and that's it?
no, I had a long conversation with Sean actually, and it was funny because I'm 43 years old. I've been fighting for a long time, and I'm not like going on a title run or anything. I'm not trying to, um, I don't even have it in me to do a title run or anything. And when I called Sean, his first question was like something like, "What's going on? What's wrong?"
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Bro, like I'm 43. That's what's wrong."
And so why did you wait 2 months? Like, were there moments where you wrote it and then deleted it and didn't want to post it? Is it just like it just was the feeling on that day?
Yeah, it was just a feeling like that. It's just a courage thing. I
Okay.
just didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't want to make it official to everyone. Like I knew in my mind, but um, like I've said a few times before, like I shed a little tear, man. Like it's sad, like a little piece of you dies, and I didn't want to officially break that little piece off of me. But I'm in a new place in my life now. I got a new purpose, new direction in my life, so I don't need that piece anymore.
And I want to ask you about that, but I'm just curious, when you made the call to Sean, what, like, ultimately, what was the deciding factor to say, okay, this is it? Not the social media post, like the to notify the UFC and say I'm done. Why did you and
Yeah.
how did you ultimately come to that decision?
Well, I've been having fought for about a year now, and in this year, I was kind of already working my way towards that. Been focused a lot on business and building other financial incomes, and I've done a good job of it. So now that I don't need the money to go fight, I was questioning, okay, do I really want to fight? Um, and yes, I do still want to fight. Actually, I really, and that maybe that's where there was a little bit of conflict, because in my head I'm like, yes, I do want to fight, but I'm ready to give back, man. I got, my kids are old enough. I miss enough of their stuff. I have a whole staff at my gym that's kind of been waiting for me to retire so that they can make more money. Because if I'm not giving the gym energy, then I'm not building it the way that it should be done. Um, Things like that. But helping out with kids classes, things like that, man. Where that's where my mindset is now, is more on giving back versus doing something for myself. So like, they sent me an email, they offered me a fight, and the first thing that came to my mind was I could use the money. I wasn't excited. I wasn't stoked. I didn't go run sprints like I usually would. I didn't get a chill down my spine. None of that stuff. I just thought about the money. And I'm like, dude, I'm pretty good at making money other ways.
When was that? How long ago was that when they offered you that?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Okay. Can I ask who it was against?
Max Griffin.
And did that interest you at all, or again, it was just literally the monetary
Be
gain?
an awesome.
Yeah.
I think it would certainly be an amazing fight. Like, he's an awesome competitor, explosive guy, has knockout power. But honestly, the opponent didn't even matter. It had no bearing on the decision whatsoever. Like I said, whether it was, Fedor Emelianenko or some brand new guy or something, it was just that I just didn't get that chill down my spine, man. And I said, if that's where my mind's at, then I got to go where my mind's at.
Amazingly, your last fight was 368 days ago, May 13th of last year in Charlotte against Court McGee. What a great fight, and what a great fight. If that is, in fact, your last one, what a great way to end. And I'm just wondering, when you left the cage that night, was there any part of you that thought maybe this could be the last time? Was that on your mind at all?
No, because so that was the other piece of the puzzle. Was my mind was set on UFC 300. And I thought that I had all the pieces in place to make it happen. Jim Miller was talking about it. I was talking about it. I knew they were going to get Jim Miller on the card. Jim Miller said publicly he would accept the fight and do it and would love to do it. So I was literally training for that fight, and then it didn't happen. So, that would be that was probably the little final nail in the coffin, where I was like, all right, nothing else really gets me that excited. Like, I wanted to go out on 300. I thought that'd be a hell of a way to go out, especially against Jim Miller, another legend. And it didn't happen. So I was like, all right, let's build this business, man. Let's get rich other ways.
Were you given any reason as to why it didn't happen?
Didn't even ask.
Oh,
It's out of my control. It is what it is.
okay. But you did try to make it happen. It wasn't like you just sat back and waited for the phone call. Like, you pushed for it and were told ultimately no.
I called them months and months, way before they had any fights on UFC 300, expressed interest. I called them when they talked, when Jim Miller fought, whenever that was. I don't remember all the timelines, but the fight before he fought on 300. He talked about it in the press conference. I called multiple times, and it didn't happen. So it is what it is.
Was it a hard event to watch for you because you wanted to be on it so much? Like, did you have any mixed feelings watching it?
That's a good point. It was, man. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. But were you able to enjoy it, or was it just, was it a little too personal for you?
No, it was cool. It is what it is. What it is. I'm not that guy. I don't hang on to things like that. Um, I mean, there's no way no person on this earth didn't enjoy Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje.
Right. No, it was incredible. But I can
Yeah,
understand why you wanted to be a part of that. Could I ask about the reaction to the post? Because I saw later you said, like, you were kind of blown away by the reaction. I saw that you said your phone was heating up from all the notifications. What was it like to then all of a sudden see all this love being showered on you and everything coming your way?
I'm still taking it in, man. Even sitting here on your show right now, as people are talking about it, and everywhere I go, people are saying congratulations, and um, which is an odd word for me to hear when people say that, because I'm like really sad right now,
Yeah.
But I get where it's coming from. It's coming from a good place, and they're congratulating on other things. But yeah, it's tough, man. Like, it sucks, but all good things got to come to an end. And I think I'm going to do bigger, better things in my post-fight career anyway. So I'm looking forward. I'm not looking back.
Can you describe why you are sad? What are the emotions?
Yeah, piece of you dies. I mean, that's straight up what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a gigantic piece of my identity. Um, there's certainly a huge ego part too, where you walk around, you go to the bar and you're talking to a girl and tell her you're a UFC fighter. There's certainly a huge ego component to it. All the admiration that you get, all the love, the attention that you get when you are going into a fight, all that's going to be gone now. But more than anything, it's just that piece of me died, but I like to say, as much as it died, I killed it myself. I stomped that motherfucker out, and I'm moving on to the next thing, man.
Mm-hmm. And the game didn't, for lack of a better word, kill you, right? Like you got to go on your own terms. You didn't go out, as they say, on a stretcher, like you're face down. You go out a victor, which is a huge thing, and a lot of people can't say that. And I'm wondering, is this something you dreaded as you were getting older? Were you someone who thought about the end and worried about the end and dreaded the end, or did you never think about it?
I never even thought about it. I never thought there would be an end. I thought I was going to fight until 50 years old or whatever. Just life just didn't work out that way for me. I got so many other things on my mind. I'm really in that mindset of giving back at this point. Especially after running a martial arts gym as long as I have, the rewards of that surpass the selfish reward of stepping into a cage and getting all that attention and all that love. The tiny rewards, not even tiny, the small rewards that I get every day when kids come up to me and say, "You changed my life." When a adult comes up to me and says, I dropped 30 pounds and I feel better than I ever have. Or just recently, a little girl come up to me, little 7-year-old, just the sweetest little Indian girl I ever met. And her little sister was getting bullied and she protected her against the bully. And, things like that bring tears to my eyes, man. It just warms your heart more than anything. And I'm like, this is way more powerful than me getting all of that admiration for going out there and beating up another man.
Mm-hmm. Was there a phone call, a text, a DM, someone who reached out in the aftermath of this that hit you particularly hard, that really meant the world to you?
Good question, man. There were so many of them. A lot of fighters reaching out, man. Guys that I'd never even spoken to before. That was pretty intense. Even like some of the older guys. God, I couldn't even pick out one because there were so many. Like I said, my notifications were blowing up to the point that my phone overheated, which tells me I need to update my phone too.
Yeah.
But no, but it's not like it happens every day either. So every single one of them means something to me. One doesn't mean more than the other, but every single one.
Also, coincidentally, 10 years ago, just a few days ago, your fight against Eric Silva. What a freaking fight. I said that's my favorite fight of yours. The atmosphere in Cincinnati, which I know is close to where you are, where you call home, main event, the finish, everything about it was just magic. It was like peak Matt Brown, in my opinion. Is that your favorite fight of all time, or is there a different one?
So there's aspects of that were my favorite, and then the Robbie Lawler fight was actually my favorite. So I'll run through it real quick. So the Eric Silva fight, the reason that one has to be my favorite is because there was more family there than at my family reunion. My kids came into the on after. Obviously, I was the main event. I won. Obviously, it was a great fight. Everything worked out. But on a more personal level, the Robbie Lawler one was a favorite because I probably learned more as a martial artist in that fight than any fight in my career. Robbie's just, an absolute savage, and I just never faced someone like him before or after. And I thought I won the fight. Of course, the judges gave it to him. It was close enough that it wasn't a robbery or anything. But I felt like I performed very well in that fight, considering the circumstances. I had some injuries and stuff going in. But more than anything, like the lessons that I took walking out of that cage have kind of hit me a little deeper than any other fight. Whereas the Eric Silva fight, there wasn't a lot of lessons. It was like I just gutted that shit out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a huge martial arts lesson.
And so what were those lessons, if I can ask?
The biggest one was that I wasn't as strong and powerful as I thought it was. Like when I hit Robbie, he was the first guy. Like I rocked him hard, which would have knocked out most people. And I seen him wobble a couple times, and the way that uh, he reacted to that, like a real professional, like a real savage. That was probably the biggest thing. Like you can't rely on that power. You can't rest on your laurels just because you hit somebody hard. Whereas so many times in the past, and even since then, I land that big shot and the fight changes right there.
Hmm. So it's so interesting because that kind of stopped this magical run that you were on, but yet still, because of those lessons and because of who he was and what you learned, that's your favorite fight. That kind of blows me away.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm a martial artist. You know what I mean? That's what I'm all about. And win or lose, it's all about the lessons in there. So, um, so again, it's, the favorite fight for two different reasons, right? They're both my favorite fights.
Do you have any regrets?
No.
Anyone?
I wouldn't call it regrets. Like I would certainly change things if I could go back to change things. Um, Particularly like not be so experimental with diet and training and go into like different places and always thinking that there's something else out there that I need. Um, yeah, I think that hindered my performance many times. Or also just my constant mentality of, I'm a fucking warrior and I'm gonna, like the Robbie Lawler fight, for instance, zero excuses, not put out there but like I had a torn ligament in my hand, right? And I could have just pulled out of the fight, but I'm like, dude, I'm a warrior, like, what are you talking about? I just go fight. I don't care about all that stuff. And it certainly affected me. If that's just an example. I did that so many times where I could have just been, a little bit more particular with my training and my career. But again, it's not a regret.
Mhm.
But if like, I would say like if it happened again, I would do it the same.
Along those lines, is there someone, and maybe the answer is Jim Miller, that you wish you could have fought? You fought so many guys, but was there someone that you never got to tangle with that you wish you would have had that chance?
Only a champion, right?
Yeah.
That's all I. Yeah, for the longest time, that was the only thing in my mind, and most of my career was GSP, so that would be the guy.
Hmm. Did you
He
like?
probably would have passed, but I would have loved to fight him.
Sure. And you were on that path back in
We need
2014.
sure.
No, no, no. Like, sure, like it would have been a great fight. No, I don't mean sure, like he would have been. I mean, like, I was referring to the sure of the previous statement of like, that's the guy, obviously, when you were a welterweight. Sorry, I said that a little bit delayed. Everyone who was a welterweight in the early 2000s wanted to fight him, or 2010s. My apology, Matt. I'm sorry. It would have been great. But, when you started, you had the ups and downs, and I don't need you to, I'm not going to ask you to retell your story because you've told it so many times, but, many people would have thought you would never even have made it this far and for this long. Would that be fair to say that this career that spanned, what is it, almost 18 years, right? From when you debuted. When you started, did you ever think in a million years you would have this kind of longevity?
I don't know. When I started, I said I'm gonna give my life to this, and I'm gonna succeed or I'm gonna die trying. What that looked like, I had no idea. So I'm blessed that it worked out the way that it did. Um, but again, like, I mean, who would have guessed that the UFC would be what they are today either? You know what I mean? So, you know, the actual vision in my head, um, I couldn't have envisioned what everything is today. So, I just knew that I was going to be a martial artist and a warrior until the day that I die. And I feel like I've lived up to that at least.
As you know, we see retirements and then a couple of years later, people come back. Are you fully closing the door on fighting, or if a big bare knuckle or another promotion comes, can you do that? Or are you done, period, it's over?
I'd say like 90% done. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to turn down like an insane
Yeah.
opportunity. Have to be an insane opportunity that honestly, like my name probably doesn't carry the weight of that opportunity.
I disagree with that.
Maybe it does, but I'm talking like $1 million opportunity or something, and which is yeah, like you said, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm holding myself down a little bit there. Maybe it's possible. I don't feel like that opportunity is out there. If it is, then of course, I'm not opposed to it, but it's not something I'm actively searching for.
Are you free to do whatever you want, or do you still have fights with the UFC where you would have to get their blessing? How does that work?
I don't know.
Okay,
I didn't even. I don't care. You know, like I said, I retired to retire. I
fair enough.
didn't retire with any intentions of doing anything else. Again, if something was to come up, someone was to offer me a certain amount of money, I think I have good enough rapport with Dana and Sean that I could probably get their blessing if like they would understand, like, okay, you're getting a big payday, go do it. But maybe not. I mean, they're kind of the masters in this whole game of that we're playing.
Did you have a chance to talk to Dana after the announcement?
I haven't spoke to Dana. I plan on it, but I just haven't.
Okay. Just
Or
what's that? Sorry.
I'd like to at least,
Yeah.
just thank him for giving me the opportunities and everything, but I haven't yet.
And he didn't reach out.
He has not reached out.
Okay. Could I ask about the next step? You said like you're going to do. You have a lot of big plans. So obviously your gym you talked about. What does Matt Brown do now?
Yeah, the gym is going to be the big thing, man. That's actually where I'm at right now. I'm on a business trip right now, having meetings all day, learning about the gym process, how to build the business properly and do it better. Um, and I would suggest, I'd like to add this in too, that fighters, they should be opening gyms. Like I don't understand why every why every fighter that's not a champion or like a Conor McGregor, hell, he even has some of his own stuff. Why they don't have their own brands out there with gyms. It's not a difficult business. The systems are all out there. There's places like where I'm at right now that can help them, give them the blueprint to do it. It's not a complicated thing. So I would like to promote that to other fighters if anybody's listening, and they could reach out to me and I can give them all the info that they need on that. But that's going to be my big thing. And secondly, I'm building a real estate business. Like we're flipping houses and we're killing it with that, man. We're just having a lot of fun with it. It's a great business to be in, and I have amazing people around me that make it very simple. So it's easy money there.
And I see you mowing lawns and stuff.
Yeah, because I was flipping a house and I forgot to. Like I said, my guys make it very easy, but they won't mow the lawn for me.
Oh,
So
jeez. So I could be driving around the neighborhood and Matt Brown is mowing someone's lawn of a property that he's about to flip.
absolutely, I did it just the other day. That grass was probably 2-3 feet high. So it was a grind.
What about coaching? Do you plan on doing that in terms of like having a stable of fighters that you want to see get to the top?
I don't have a ton of interest in having a stable of fighters. It's just not a good business model, I think, for in terms of scalability and growth. But I have my friends that are fighters, and I help them a lot. And that's what I tell all the fighters. Obviously, like when you make a certain amount of money, yeah, expect a little cut or something. Um, but I don't help guys that are just fighters because they're fighters, and I'm gonna try to build them up and get some money off of them or something. There's simply not enough money in this sport for that to be a great business model. But if I like someone, they're my friend, and they're providing value to my gym, they're providing value to others, I see them as a good person, they could get all the knowledge that I have.
I know you do a podcast with Damon Martin called The Fighter and the Writer, The Fighter versus the Writer, excuse me. And you guys talk about a whole bunch of news and notes from Combat Sports World. I urge everyone to check it out. Would it be fair to say that despite the fact that you are no longer fighting, you'll still follow MMA? You're still a fan. You don't want to close that that kind of door in your life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm still a gigantic fan of the martial arts, and I love watching the sport evolve and watch all the new techniques come in. I think that's the most fascinating thing about it is like, especially kind of when I was coming up, we used to think there was like a right way to do things. Like you have to keep your hands up. And then Lyoto Machida comes along with his hands at his waist and fucks everybody up. So I find it really fascinating. I love the martial arts. So we talk about it a lot, me and Damon. And then I plan on doing my own podcast at some point. Been saying it for a couple of years, but where I could talk about other things, business and real estate and the martial arts business, maybe some heavy metal, different things like that, outside of fighting, because fighting isn't the only thing in the world, and it's not the only interesting thing in the world.
Can I ask you before I let you go about this date that you were on Saturday, and they play the montage, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden, this is an incredible story.
I got the performance of the night bonus.
Well,
The way up.
well done, well done.
No, it was hilarious, man. I was sitting there. So it wasn't a first date; it was actually a second date. But we went to this restaurant, and I had no idea that this restaurant would be playing the UFC. I didn't even know there was a UFC going on. God, like weekend was focused around getting on this date and everything, and they're playing it, and we sat down. It wasn't even 2 minutes later they started playing the montage, and like she knew nothing about UFC. She didn't know. Like I think when I first told her I was a UFC fighter, she's like, are you even boxer or like WWE?" And then they started playing the montage, and I had to struggle between having that heartwarming feeling and like wanting to shed a little tear, like, God, this is awesome, man. I can't believe they're doing this. And then turn around and looking at her and just flexing, right?
Oh my God. Could you tell that she
So
looked at you differently after that?
she was actually pretty cool about it. I mean, she was, you know, she's a mature enough lady that she was very nice about it, and certainly, had a respect for it and everything, but also wasn't, you know, she wasn't crawling under the table right then like some girls would.
Well, amazing timing. That's amazing. One last thing. Anything you want to say to the fans? All the people. I saw a bunch of nice tweets that came your way after that announcement. To all the people who supported you, who had your back, who sent you nice tweets, who watched your fights, who bought the pay-per-views, who bought the tickets. Anything come to mind?
Man, I mean, I feel like saying I'm grateful and thankful just isn't strong enough words, but that's all I can feel, man. And it really means a lot to me, more than I can describe with words. How much it means to me. Um, it's easy for us in the grind of things to forget how much of an impact we can have on others. And when I hear those stories about how I inspired people or how I changed someone's life, that ultimately makes it all worth it. All the blood and the sweat and the tears. And it seriously means a lot to me. I wish that I had stronger words. I wish I was more articulate or something to be able to express that better. But just a huge thanks and a lot of gratefulness is all I got.
And a thank you to you as well for all the great fights, the entertainment, and for being so cool to cover. You were a straight shooter and always very good to the media. So thank you so much for everything, and congrats on an incredible career, Matt. Sincerely, what a run you had. So well done. Hope you can enjoy it, and good luck in this next chapter. Good luck with the podcast and the other podcasts that you'll be doing and all the businesses that you're doing. Wish you nothing but the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Errol.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.